Well, I'm here with Joanne Fink, who is an amazing calligrapher, and she has brought some beautiful lettering samples that are full of color. These are so gorgeous, Joanne.
Thank you.
Now, you have promised me that these are easy, but they don't look easy.
They are very easy, and I will show you step by step how to do them.
Cool. Well, let's get started.
I'm using a metallic gel pen, and I'm going to write your name.
The best word on earth.
Starts with a J. And just use your regular handwriting, but space it wide so that you have room to build up color inside the letters. And the best part, in my mind, of course, is the flourish. So leave some room for the flourish.
Now, I know you're working on dark paper, but you could do this, of course, on light paper or anything else. It's just a wonderful pop of color on dark paper.
And I'm using this silver here because silver will blend with any of the rainbow colors that I'm going to put on top of it.
So we're going to go ahead to the next step.
Awesome. So in order to get the best blend for your color, I want to be changing color within a letter. So I'm going to show you how to outline.
I was going to say, so even within that U, I can see you're going from like a blue-green to a green-green. And now, the J, it's going from a purple to a blue.
And now I'm going to go to the gold, which is the next color in rainbow order. And I start by outlining
and that's, of course, why you said we needed all that space between the letters, because things are getting fat.
Exactly. And since the L doesn't have two poles, I'm going to add the next color in spectrum order. And I've laid all my pens out in the order of the spectrum.
Okay, so for people who don't know what spectrum is, because that's kind of a fancy art word, what does it mean?
Voici biv.
Okay, so it's rainbow order,
rainbow
essentially.
Order. Yes, I'm all about the rainbow. Like my necklace, I love color. And I'm going to go back and show you what this one letter could look like when we're done. So I'm going to color the side here green.
I can see that. So the same color that you outlined in is the same color, in fact, that you're coloring in. And
this part we're going to do in the previous color of the rainbow order.
And I can see, you know, obviously with a gel ink, we think because it has such a small ballpoint tip, you think of it as being a pen that you can't do a lot of coloring with, but actually the ink flows out of it really nicely, and I assume that when you get to the point where the two colors meet, you're actually going to get a little bit of a blend there. Yes? No?
Yes, absolutely. And what's nice about this is that it's opaque, so you can go back and put on top of it. So now I have the teal color going into the green, and I want to get a little bit of the gold on this edge. So I'm just going to go right here and add the gold, and that's what makes the words look so natural.
I was going to say, that's part of what is transitioning the color, is that bit of gold to transition into the next color is a really, really great idea. So I have one here that I believe is part way done, yes?
It is indeed. And this is filled in, so let me show you. I'll outline the letter with the gold on this side, and now I'm going to switch to the copper. So when I start my coloring, I'm already a little ahead of the game because I've got the two colors. And because they're opaque, you can just go right on top. And what you said is so true. The ink flows out and is...
And it's covering up that silver line too, which I think is cool. I wasn't sure that it was going to be able to, but again, it is. And you know, the other thing is, I thought that this was going to be, I've watched a lot of calligraphy videos where people do unbelievably gorgeous things like you do. And the problem is they seem to do it in one sweep. But this is a technique that I see I can just work in little bits and pieces and make it what it needs to be. It doesn't have to be the perfect pen stroke, turning that nib the right way and all that kind of stuff.
You know, we're using a monoline tool and we're building the letter up.
So monoline, again, you're full of the fancy calligraphy words, but monoline, I'm assuming, is going to mean one single line, meaning it only makes a little like round line. It doesn't have lots of different kinds of lines.
Exactly. And you get the thickness by adding weight to it.
Okay, so you're ready for your next one. Here you go.
One of the things that I want to show you is how you can change color going around a flourish because the flourish is the most fun.
You know, it's amazing to me actually, just from going from the lighter pink into the pink that you're using now, you actually see that color blending happening right in front of our eyes.
It is very cool.
It is super cool. Now a flourish, as you mentioned, is that big curly Q thing at the top.
Yes, it's a little bit like flag waving. It says, notice me. And I could go back towards the green, but instead I'm taking the flourish in the opposite rainbow order and going towards the purple.
What's the reason for that?
Because it helps it to stand out and bring a little bit more color into the piece, because that way I can accent the blues over here. By the time I get there, I will be back in the blue, which will pick up the blue that I have going on in the J. And sometimes I do the technique going down.
Okay, so meaning like we went blue to green sort of vertically, and you're talking about it going the other way, and I believe you can see it right here on this sample with Jenny, also another good J name.
Yes.
J names unite.
J names unite.
And what is happening here is obviously I can see the blue is going into the green, and there's a little bit of teal there. And what's interesting to me is here on the big J, Joanne, I can see that you have it, this one almost seems to move in the same direction as this, meaning if there's a color plane, right? That's a blue band, that's like a teal band, and then the green in between. That's a really cool idea.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
I should hope so. So let's talk about some of the other beautiful samples that you brought, which I think are fantastic and fabulous. If we start over with Sharon, I can see that not only have you done so many of the things that you told us with those beautiful shiny, but you have a big flourish again. But this time you didn't do what we did on the Julie sample where you went in opposite order, right?
This time I went back towards the green. This I wanted to be really subtle so that you can't point to any one place where the color changes. And I think that that's really what makes the technique sparkle.
It does, and if we go and look at the Caroline, for example, I can see the blending really strongly right here in the underneath. Is this still called a flourish like this? Because I can see how we very carefully have a little bit of color on the side and the top. It doesn't just sort of end like this, it more sort of goes like that, which is really cool. This is great, it feels doable. I'm gonna try it.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Send me what you do.
I will.